Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on Episode 8 of Code Geass. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. Alright, so it seems like we're getting a new, different recap. Rather than, going over the events of the war, we're going over the events that have already happened, which I guess is nice because things have been rather fast-paced, you know. For those of us in the cheap seats here, it's always nice to get a firm grip on what's already happened and where the story's going. And I'd wager that, seeing as how it's focusing on Suzaku and Lelouch, I'd imagine their difference in ideology is going to come to the fore here. So I guess getting back to the actual events of the previous episode, Lelouch thought things were going well, and then he kind of got bamboozled, which is, that's not really something that's ever happened before, but that sort of proves that this princess is, rather dangerous. And Lelouch has sort of decided that perhaps he'd better get, some more reliable people. Because part of the issue is that the rebels sort of, broke and ran or just generally disobeyed orders, and in doing so, I'm pretty sure a lot of them just got butchered. So I'm wondering what this girl's deal is, you know, is she so freaked out about everything that's going on? I mean, she does seem to be, kind of timid. I mean, she didn't like the idea of Suzaku being in the class, understandably to a degree considering what he had been accused of, but, you know, he was also acquitted. So this is interesting. We don't really get any resolution of what happened with Lelouch and C2 in the sewer. You know, we just sort of snap to whatever day this is. Lelouch seemingly has, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it seems like it's, like a personalized vehicle of some sort, like a double-decker. I don't even know what you'd call it other than, like the equivalent of, like, a cruise ship on land. Okay, so the plot's thickening a bit. It seems like there are some people claiming to be the Japanese Liberation Front holding people hostage. Worse yet, people that Lelouch and Kallen know. But I'm wondering if maybe this is a false flag. I mean, it doesn't necessarily seem like the Japanese Liberation Front's motive to sort of pull a big hostage situation stunt like this, you know. They seem to have been more tactful up until now. Okay. So I guess the idea here is that there might be more at play, hence why it could potentially be a false flag. I guess the question is, what is anybody supposed to do about it? You know, you can't exactly go in there with your nightmare frames and stop the hotel with all the people held hostage. Man, this really just sort of validates that poor girl's belief that things were going to go wrong. That's rather unfortunate, you know, she's never going to get over this, I'd imagine. Okay, so that's kind of interesting, you know, perhaps this is a legit incident, but only because they don't want to get shown up by Lelouch, which is very interesting. You know, I would think, well, I guess pride to a degree is a motivating factor in these revolutionaries, but pride in the sense that they're displaying, you know, I don't know about that. Seems more self-destructive than anything else. Alright, so this is bad, you know, if the people are deciding to sink the hotel by destroying the foundation, with Cornelia at the helm, they're obviously going to do something like that, regardless of consequences, and, you know, no doubt there's going to be many. So I guess, at the very least, the Japanese Liberation Front is prepared. They expected this line of advance. But, you know, I don't think there's any guarantee that they'll be able to succeed. When they do have, you know, functionally anti-nightmare weapon, which, well, you know, it's working. So maybe they have thought things through. So I guess the idea here is that it's impossible to breach their defenses, but I feel like Cornelia's not going to go for that. Although it seems like she's not willing to go in totally guns blazing just because of Euphemia. Oh, that's interesting, because, you know, you really can't destroy the hotel with her sister in there. Regardless of whether or not she personally cares for her sister, which I suspect she really doesn't. Man, you do have to wonder about that poor girl who's been Geass to keep scratching a symbol into the wall. There are a lot of open questions about her, you know, does she have awareness and free will other than doing that? I would certainly hope so. So I would feel like a situation like this is ripe for Lelouch to swoop in and do something, just because Cornelia is seemingly focused on the task at hand. Although this is something of a personal matter for him, you know, he does care about Shirley to some degree, I'd imagine. Perhaps not as much as she would like, but some. And interestingly, Kallen cares about the hostages too, although maybe only for pragmatic reasons. Alright, so Zero's dropping some knowledge here, you know, they aren't merely a resistance, they are something more. You know, there's an ideology behind this that isn't just opposing the current regime. I guess it kind of makes sense that he would couch things in those terms, in part because that's what he believes, but also because I'd imagine that would really light a fire under people to get things going. Ooh. Well, that's harsh, to sort of, kill a hostage. I mean, that one was unprovoked, but now they're sort of broadcasting their demands, give us what we want or we'll keep doing this. Man, that kind of crosses a line. I mean, it is bad to kill hostages, but at least if they had said, like, we're gonna do this before they did it, that would have been something. Man, it really does seem like Cornelia cares about Euphemia, which I guess it's good for the Liberation Front. That sort of gives them an edge. They're not hamstrung in the same way. Ooh, okay. So they do have the opportunity to snipe Zero, but they're not taking it. I mean, I'm not sure I understand their reasoning. It would probably be better to just end the problem altogether, but I don't know. Maybe they're hoping two wrongs will work out to make a right. Okay, so obviously they're not just gonna let him waltz right in, and that makes sense. But at the same time, I don't know, he's not gonna cause trouble, surely. If anything, he would only help, right? Ooh, that's interesting. She's still dead set on vengeance for Clovis. Ooh. So that was a calculated risk here. What do you care about more, Clovis or Euphemia? And obviously it would be Euphemia, right? Care for the living, if nothing else. And I guess, Lelouch knows the inside baseball here. Being a member of the family, he would know. Yeah, that's a risky gamble on his part, I'd imagine, but it's probably about as calculated as it could be, knowing how she would likely react, even despite the exterior he puts up as Zero. Now I guess the question is, what's Lelouch's ulterior motive here? I mean, seemingly, it would be a good thing to get the Japanese Liberation Front behind him, but they seem to be a prideful, spiteful bunch. They've seemingly only done this whole thing because Lelouch was hogging the spotlight, as it were. Oh. Yeah, I guess it's to be expected. Cornelia's not going to play fairly, as it were. If she can wipe out the Liberation Front and Zero, that's that's all well and good. Although in her position, I'd be a bit more concerned about Euphemia. If she really is the darling little sister that we're led to believe. And good on Suzaku. Like, he's aware that being sent in the landslide, he's likely to be used as bait because they don't really trust him. But, I mean, he's willing to do it. He's willing to play his part. He really is a good guy. And it's interesting that they've made him a lieutenant, too. Because he was just a private initially. Wow. I guess it's telling that they're sending him where they know the resistance will be the heaviest. I mean, he's going to have to contend with that anti-nightmare frame weapon, which I'd imagine the Lancelot has a better chance of surviving than anything else, but at the same time, this almost smacks of sending somebody into the meat grinder to die and not really caring about it. Not that that's entirely unusual, but yeah, I mean, the scientists are even talking about it, like, odds are less than half that the Lancelot will come out undamaged. Which, it's probably better than those guys in the Sutherlands fared. Well, almost certainly, in fact, but yeah, 1 in 2 aren't great odds. Ooh. Ooh, that's a mistake. You know, you probably shouldn't call the Japanese Liberation Front 11s if they're so dead set on being referred to as Japanese. I mean, they've already made it pretty clear they're willing to kill hostages. It wouldn't do to provoke them. Oh, surely they're not gonna kill her, are they? Ooh. Alright, so Euphemia is actually revealing herself. And it seems like nobody really knew. Understandably to a degree, but, man, the Japanese Liberation Front have stumbled into a rather large bargaining chip. I'm wondering how Lelouch is going to weasel around showing his face again. You know, because he's sort of, he did that before with Callan and her friends. He's doing it again with these guys, presumably, but, I'm wondering, like what's he gonna do? Because before he sort of, made a big display that, he is powerful and all that. So I'm thinking, the Lancelot's best opportunity here is to get within the range of essentially the shotgun blast. Because, you know, it fires shrapnel which sort of spreads out in a cone. If it can get to the narrow part of the cone, then, you know, it's much easier to maneuver around the shrapnel, but it's kind of a big if. You know, as it turns out, a tunnel's a pretty easy position to hold if you have a shotgun. Ooh. Wow, so I'm wondering if we're working on Death Note rules here. You know, by commanding him to die, does he just, like, kill himself or does he drop dead, I wonder? Ooh. Man, they all committed not alive. Alright, so, things have kind of resolved themselves. I guess the Liberation Front doesn't really have any reason to ally with Lelouch. Although at this point he might as well be the de facto leader, seeing as how everyone else is dead. I do find it interesting that he's also playing up this familiarity with Euphemia. I imagine that's probably, to wrong-foot her, you know. She doesn't recognize who he is, so this assumed familiarity will be kind of, unnerving, I imagine. So I'm wondering if he's just trying to, like, glean a bit of information. You know, she's the Governor General now. Oh. Okay. So he's not trying to curry favor or anything. Okay. He's kind of playing into this sort of villainous role here. It's like, yeah, he was begging for his life and I killed him. And I might kill you too, and, you know, I didn't kill him for the 11s, I killed him because he's a Britannian noble. So that's something alright. He's really laying his cards down on the table here that's like, yeah, I'm opposed to the Empire in its entirety. This isn't about Area 11 or Japan or anything petty like that. This is about something bigger. Wow. You know, I do sort of question the wisdom of collapsing the hotel. If only for the property damage, but, ooh. Yeah, so at this point, Suzaku doesn't know who Zero is, and Zero doesn't know who's in the white nightmare frame. And I guess Suzaku can't help himself but try to go in to save some of the people. Yeah, you know, I really do question the wisdom of collapsing the hotel if everybody was still inside. Especially given what Cornelia knew. I mean, it seemed like a controlled demolition, but even so, you know, demolition I feel like it's kind of a tricky thing at the best of times, you know? There are only so many variables you can account for, especially in a rather hectic situation like this. Man, you know, I definitely don't blame Suzaku for being upset at not being able to save anyone. But at the same time, I feel like they could just kill off half the cast. Oh. Oh, this is something. Zero saved them. Oh. Okay, so it's a lie, I guess. But nevertheless, he's taking credit publicly. Which, you know, that's definitely like a PR move. You know, whether or not he's truly responsible, the public at large will assume he is. To some degree, at least. Alright. Yeah, you know, this is a novel approach here. He opposes the Liberation Front because they took hostages. He opposes the Britannian Empire because they're an empire. You know, he aligns with the common man. Alright. You know, I think by taking this approach, you can really get most people on his side. Wow. I'd almost call it masterful. You know, this is probably like the best possible thing he could have done. Yeah, you know, that's a mighty impressive thing to say. You know, whenever those with weapons attack those without, we will appear. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.